proceeds from your cleaning business.
No. It's when we came back to the US.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to do my countdown. I'm just warming up. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mail Right Show. It's episode number 477. You've got me and you've got Jonathan Didwin, and I am thrilled to tell you that you have found the number 86 rated real estate podcast in the world. Congratulations. We're going to talk about marketing today, as we do every day. A little Pinky in the Brain reference for some of you who may be like me and be animation nerds. But today's episode 477, and we're going to talk about open house marketing that works in, guess what, 2025. Really useful that John and I are willing to talk to you about stuff that actually works today, right? We should get a prize, I think. So we already did. We got rated number 86 by you, our lovely listeners, in terms of being in the top 100 podcasts. If you want to check us out, go to millionpodcast.com and see that we are number 86, but we would like to be number one. So if you, before we even get started here, if you've liked the show, if you're a longtime listener, do us a favor, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up. It matters. These platforms track it. Doesn't matter where you're hearing it. Doesn't matter where you found us. Just give us a little love. All right.
Give us love.
All you need is love. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Anyway, this is why I podcast and not sing, just so everybody knows. All right. So, John, as usual, for those of you that don't know, Jonathan Dinwood is a WordPress master. He's a serial entrepreneur. He has got more than one business. He is the leader of one of the top podcasts that exists on WordPress. He has a real estate business that's built an all-in-one system called the Mail Right system. It is inexpensive, reasonably priced, and he is extremely competitive. Without any further ado, as a human being and as a business owner, John, why don't you finish off your intro?
Oh, thanks, Rob. Yes, I'm the joint founder of mail-right.com. We're a platform that provides an easy-to-use CRM, a library of pre-designed websites that can get you up and running, plus a host of other digital services and products bundled in one affordable package that starts, if you're paying month to month, at around $49. What more could you ask for, my beloved real estate agents? Back over to you, Robert.
Exactly. So as we wind up for the show, the much maligned, the real estate market is getting more competitive. And John and I constantly talk about and rehash ways for people to get leads. And there's a lot of things that are going to change really quickly. That's just the truth of it. AI is changing the game on a daily basis, how people find things. It's not the cataclysmic thing that I think people are describing, but like voice search is becoming more relevant. And one of those searches that would be interesting for all of you at the show to hear about is a search called Open Houses Near Me is gaining in popularity. And I don't know that for sure. I haven't looked up the numbers, but what I do know for a fact is that voice search is up by a ridiculous margin. That is absolutely a truth. And so it's safe to say that almost all searches related to real estate are up. So I can say it and know that I'm probably right. So one of those things that we are, as people are going open houses near me or real estate office near me, obviously for all of you who've gotten used to never showing up to the office, never being at an open house, the game is going to change slightly. You want to be there. You want to be there, or you want an assistant there, depending on where you're at in your career. Why? Because it's still a place that people walk in personally, and you can still collect their information. That is going to become rarer and rarer in terms of what your options are to market to consumers directly. Open houses becomes a channel that's more and more promising, not less promising. So having some open house strategies in place so that you can get in front of customers, potential customers, which is really hard to do in person. It's really important. Please don't breeze by this show. It's a really important subject. And with no further ado, John, as usual, he likes to say he's done all the donkey work. So
Eeyore.
John has done
Eeyore.
John has done all the donkey work for the show. So we're going to start him off with the first bullet point on our list of things that you can do to promote yourself at open houses in 2025.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I think number one I had on the list was promoting your open house using short form video on social media. But before I give some thoughts on that, I think what should have been number one is having a plan, having a template, having structure. I've always liked open houses. A lot of agents don't. They don't see the worth in them. I've got to tell you the truth, my beloved audience. I find that a really bizarre attitude. I think a lot of real estate agents that have built up a really good book of business, and they for understandable reasons, they no longer want to do open houses. That's fine. Get a junior involved. You know, it's a great way that both of you can benefit. But I've always liked open houses, Rob. I think as a guerrilla tactic, if they're run in the right way, they can be very beneficial. But a lot of agents, like anything, Rob, if you just got a damn negative attitude about something, you know, you're not going to get anything out of it, Rob. You got to change your attitude a bit, and you got to have a plan, a template about how you're going to market this open house. And you've got to understand, and I hear this from, well, we never get any leads. We never get any real leads. Well, I know agents that do get really good leads from their open houses. And they also understand it's a great way of meeting people, having discussions, and also building up their email list. And when I hear other agents say, well, we don't get anything from it, it's a waste of my Saturday or my Sunday, whatever excuse they want to come out with, I just listened, and yeah, it is what it is. But I think it's a great way. But you've got to have a plan. And one of the plans is video on social media on all platforms is dominating. And I think using some of the AI tools that we've discussed, Robert, over the last few months, you can take some videos on your phone and you can reuse them by using AI. But it's also linked to one of the other points, is that you've got to get these videos viewed. And the way to do it is to do some basic SEO research about what are people searching around property on these social media platforms, and then you tag your open house around certain subjects, and that's the clues for what the short video topics are going to be. Hopefully that makes sense, Rob. What do you reckon?
So I think that we're going to say the same thing in a slightly different way. So if all of you tuned in and started to say, I would like to be found on voice search. All right, well, here's the thing that most people don't know, John. Large language models are now scraping local data, okay, publicly available local data, that they were not going to get any trouble with people like Google. Now, what that means to all of you is that you can post a video that says open house on 6/15/2025, right? And Google will look at that data, and the large language models will too, and then they'll examine the description to see if you've got description information in there. And then when somebody does a voice search, they're going to pull directly the title of the video and the description, which means that whatever you put in there as a human being, is basically what people will hear in voice search. So promoting your local open house on, let's say, your social profiles, not Facebook, because they're very unfriendly to all people that want to crawl them, but probably Google. And you're going to absolutely positively list your open house there using short form video, just like John said, but with the specific strategy that I just said. Okay. So, and it could be a 30 30-second video saying, this is when I'm doing it. This is where it is. Here's the directions. Here's my cell phone number to call me if you need additional information on how to find it. That's it. And it's the kind of house it is. Single family, 2 bedrooms, square footage, like price, and then you move on with your day. And that right there can get you tagged in voice search. All right, using video. So same thing that John just said. All right, so I'm going to take number 2, which John's put down on our list: smarter ways to nurture neighborhoods into sellers, door knocking, and promote the open house. Remember, you're in the business of having conversations. So when I used to run canvassing crews, John, the way that we would have done this strategy is absolutely as a public service. That's how the door knock would go. So you do the knock, you've got 15 seconds to make a positive impression. If you're lucky enough for the homeowner to answer the door, these days it's a lot of ring conversations, so it's a little camera on a door, and you say, hey, this is just a public service, just want to let you know. Like, you have 15 seconds. It's got to be fast. You barely even bother with your name. You know, oftentimes you don't. You just say, hey, I'm Robert. I work for a local realtor. The property 5 houses down from you is getting listed. We're going to have an open house on blank blank date at blank blank time. We're letting you know as a public courtesy, just in case you'd like to see how the Joneses live. And then you ask with the say yes question if you're being really assertive, like, can I expect to see you there, or will I expect to see you there? Or you can also just go, just want to let you know, like, and then walk away, and drop a flyer on the door. So you want to canvass neighborhoods closest to the house, and you want to try to pique people's curiosity by saying, do you know how your neighbors live? And then get them to that. Listen, John, you're in America now, buddy. We all want to know.
Oh yeah, English people are just the same, nosy as hell. Everybody wants to know everybody else's business, and they don't want to share theirs.
Exactly. So that's my little comment. Do you have something to add?
Yeah, just a quick thing, Rob, is that I think, and we've discussed this before, Rob, a lot of people either they want to go fully digital and they don't want to meet somebody. They want paid Facebook adverts or Google paid adverts, and they really don't. They go full digital, right, in their lead generation. They don't really want to meet people. Or you get the other type of agent that poo-poos social media, paid advertising, website. Oh, I don't need that. I just build my book through face-to-face interaction. The key to this, folks, is combining both, is having proper plans, strategies about how you're going to market the open house on social media. But remember, I'm only saying what I would do. I would knock on people's doors and promote it, because this is a conversational business. It's about talking to people. You know, the thing about digital marketing, folk, is it's about getting you in front of people that want to have conversations about buying or selling property. It's that simple, really, folks. There's nothing. The fundamentals aren't that difficult. It's actually doing it at a price and in a volume that can make a difference. But the fundamental of it is not a difficult concept, is it, Robert?
No. Now, number 3 on the list. Well, you start us off. I mean, I obviously have a lot to say. This is my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I thought it would be. Well, you know, we've had this discussion, being the digital mayor of your area, being the digital mayor of your town, the property mayor, I should say, the person that's on social media sharing knowledge and you know, when you go to various social events in town, you're recognised as the expert. You've proven your chops. And that's what your social media content, it should be education, helpful. And when you're promoting, and if you do this, it's going to be easier when you're promoting your open houses, isn't it? It all kind of fits in, doesn't it, Robert?
It does. And there's a lot of strategies that comes down to storytelling and education. And storytelling and education for lifestyle, which is exactly how we provide service to our clients, is encouraging them to do these things and then giving them help, tips, and advice along with doing all the technical things that you need to do to rank for SEO. Educational content provides you, when you start saying educational, for those of you that are lucky enough to live in a second home market, which John is, Reno as an example, and he just illuminated for me before the show started that, you know, he bought originally in Reno because he enjoys skiing, and it's a prolific activity in that area, and you get a small town feel, and it's beautiful. So all great reasons. However, what you could do that would so easily generate you leads from all over the place is start to talk about the specifics of what slopes are your favorite, how do you get in, when do you go, what time of day, when's best to go, how much passes cost. I can go on and on. What your favorite ski shop is. And then when you do all of that, like as you've done one of those videos that educates or talks about lifestyle, at the end of it, you go, by the way, and we don't do wandering generalities in videos when we're trying to sell stuff. We do meaningful specifics. And so we go, we're going to take that idea of skiing and all this stuff, and we're going to go, by the way, I have a beautiful listing that is a mile away from all the things that I just talked about. And it's listed at $500,000. So if for some reason you think you might want to move here, give me a ring and let's talk about this listing. Okay, it's a way that you turn a random educational video into a lead generation video.
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we go for our break, Rob?
Oh, if we must, obviously. I wanted to talk through it. I was on one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, John is right. We need a break. We need a long coffee and a smoke, and we're not going to tell any jokes today. We'll be back in an hour. No, I'm just kidding. Today's show has been sponsored by InboundREM.com, your leader in SEO and educational services. Also, it's been sponsored by Mail-Right.com, one of the most reasonably priced all-in-one platforms anywhere that you can find in the whole entire real estate industry, run by one of the most greatest English blokes that you've ever met in your life. So if you haven't done so already, please check out our sponsors. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll be right back. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mail Right Show. Today's episode is number 477, and we're going to move on in our conversation about things that you can do for open house marketing that might work for you in 2025. One of the things that John is mentioning, which is one of my favorites, and I'm going to start us off. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to start us off on this one, is proven SEO and keyword research tips to increase exposure. All right. A really great tip, always. One of the very few things that still has good value in terms of time. SEO is changing rapidly, but one thing that's not changing is understanding what people are searching for. Doesn't matter whether it's ChatGPT, prompts was a huge thing for 2 seconds where you could buy 15 magic prompts and AI would spit out the answer and you'd spend $15 for the 15 prompts. And then it was 150 prompts and then it went away. All right. Keyword research and understanding how people are searching for whatever it is that you're doing is still incredibly relevant. Are they searching by the address of the property? Does it have enough buzz that that's happening? Are people searching generalized keywords? Because you want to be able to tag your social media or mention these things in the world of large language models. You need to make sure that if you're doing a post, large language models are more about context than specific keywords. So you still need to know how people are searching so that you can contextually frame your message correctly to potentially get in front of those searches. ChatGPT and tools like it are not magic. So what you do is you say, you contextually lay out, I've got a lake house in such and such a part of the state or city or neighborhood, and it's listed in this general range, and it's close to such and such and such and such a school district. And it's great for kids that like sports. And contextually, you lay out enough bullet points that the search engines understand all the different sides of the equation, and the large language models as well. And then they serve up your piece of content. That's what I perceived that you were saying in here. Is that right, John?
Yeah, in a lot of it, yeah. But I think the other thing is, I just want to spell it out, is that you want to do a quick kind of searching in Facebook, in Instagram, in YouTube, in TikTok, whatever it is, and just see what are the most popular terms around buying property, the property that you're going to be showing, your open house. What are people, around the subject of property? What are they looking for? And then you do your videos and you tag them with what they're looking for, and then you write the content, you write the videos a little bit about the subject. By the way, we've got this open house coming up, right? And that gets the video watched and it gets across, you got the open house. That's what I'm trying to explain to folks.
Copy that. All right. Well, we're going to, and good points all, we're going to move on here. We're going to talk about John's next bullet point is, I like this one a lot. It's no longer generalities, it's specific.
Well, I am Mr. Generality, aren't I, Robert?
Detail. So one thing that I try to educate my clients on, John, is the world has changed for good and for permanent in one major way. I don't care if you're old school or you door knock or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't matter what your approach to getting in front of people is. If it's the oldest, if you've been doing the same thing for 35 years, there's one thing that's true even for you. People do expect there to be support. Like, if you knock on their door, you may be making the sale 80% in person. You're still going to have a customer that's going to want to look at a website after you leave. You're still going to have a customer that's going to want to look at a video or a neighborhood. Like in the case that John's describing, he says, let's make some detailed neighborhood videos. I cannot stress to you, everybody listening to the show, how important those tools are, not only from a search perspective, but from a sales support perspective. If I am talking to somebody, and let's just say I am at a lake on vacation, I'm thinking of buying a second home. And then that person says to me, great, go to our website. And then I find that there's nothing but a search tool there, no information on the area. Now I leave and I go back home. I'm now back in California and I was at Lake Okoboji in Iowa. Okay, and so I'm like, I want to see the lake. I want to see the slip that we launched our little fishing boat off of, and I caught those 2 record-setting bass off of, where like all you're doing is showing me properties. You don't need that a lot of times in today's world. You actually need the deeply detailed lifestyle guides in video format and things like that. Even if all of you who are listening to the show are not to do steady, consistent streams of media, but do maybe one weekend a year where you just set aside that weekend and created a whole bunch of guides, I would do that as a necessary part of my marketing strategy. 100% I would do that. John, I know that's a little bit of a different take than what you put on here. How were you thinking of it when you added it to the list?
Yeah, sure. Well, we've talked about this on and off throughout as we've been doing this show. Evergreen pages, local guides, have videos, have a downloadable, a master guide for the whole town or the area of the city. And then you can cut that master guide into sub guides and have some other evergreen landing pages. But how does this work in your strategy on the open house? Well, you want to, a lot of agents have a sign-up sheet and they always say, well, nobody signs up. And when they do sign up, it's a Mickey Mouse email address. Well, of course it is, because you're not offering anything. And people don't want to give their details because they're worried that they're going to be bombarded to death by you. So you're going to have to offer them something. And what you say to them is you print out a couple of pages of the guide and say, if you want the full guide, I send it to you. And in the guide, it will have links to the website that will have full videos. And then maybe you combine it. You're saying that you're doing a draw. And if you write on the non-profit, or you say on the website, there might be a link that will take them and they can select which local non-profit. And at the end, you'll tell them that you're giving like $50 or $100 to the most popular local non-profit or charity in the area, something that induces some goodwill. And you're also offering this PDF which you send to them if they give their name, and then, like you say, it will have links in it that will take them to landing pages that will have the video guides.
Beautiful. And ladies and gentlemen, those are, I love every single one of those ideas. There's one, Krista Mayshore is a big fan of using charisma. Now, not everybody has charisma, so a lot of you are listening.
Do I have charisma, Robert?
Of a type.
That's the nicest thing he's ever going to say about me.
Charisma is one of those things that is subjective. It's in the eye of the beholder. Let's just make that clear. And then,
are you trying to say I've got a face that only my mother could love?
No, yeah. I'm not saying that at all. As a matter of fact, I'll bet you anything, John, that your vocal presentation is far more appealing to people on the show than mine is. But anyway, let's move on. The market, the using comedy or emotional strings. So John listed a couple of promotional things. Some people, when you're meeting them, they are all about the finances and coupons, discounts, and specials and draws. They work on that set of people. The other thing that works on people, though, that is far more prolific is emotional tuning. So if you get a read on your person, they're family oriented, they're this oriented. If you have anything on your site that matches the personality type of the person, you mention it in your conversation with them. Like, oh, by the way, my kid is on the boat on this lifestyle video, and you should check it out because she does something really cute. Somebody that is a mother and really in tune with the family, she's almost for sure going to go to your website and then check out that video. A lot of this comes down to the fact, can you read people? Hopefully most of you as real estate agents have some basic skills in that category because the business you're in. All right. So last but not least is, and it's my favorite on the whole entire list. I've used it my entire career. I've used it incredibly successfully inside door knocking. I've used it in almost all. I used to use it when I was a kid and we were selling security systems door to door. I did that for AT&T and ADT 20, 30, 40 years ago. Here's the most successful tactic that you can ever do. You install an alarm in somebody's house. And all the people whose doors you already knocked on that probably said no to the offer when you originally canvassed the neighborhood, you go back and recanvass their doors. Why? John, Mary, Bob, whatever. I just want to let you know that we just installed an alarm a few doors down. And so if you should hear it go off, we're going to be testing it over the next few days. You come up with a really solid reason that somebody can't get angry at you for knocking on their door for. With home sales, it's going to be something more along the lines of, I just want to let you know that we listed the home down the street for X amount of dollars, or we sold the home down the street for X amount of dollars. It's 10% above asking or 10% below asking. Either way, you create momentum in the conversation. So this is a time if ever you're thinking about getting out from underneath your home or moving, this is the time to do it, because 6 months from now, it might be 10% less, or 10% might be the most we can get. You just use wherever you're at, like as the motivation. But one way or the other,
well, you use either fear or greed, don't you?
Yeah, whatever you've got in front of you is literally, let me tell you, peer pressure comes in 1,000 different forms and it works on everyone. There's nobody who's immune to it, not me, not John, not anybody. If all of your neighbors are selling their houses, even if you've ignored every single call and every single sale and every single flyer, I guarantee you, no matter how set you are at staying, you're going to scratch your head and go, these 2 neighbors out of 10 that I know just moved. Maybe I should look into this and figure out why they're doing it. Am I wrong, John? Would you think the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would. I'm not saying I would move, but it opens the door to looking into it. So when somebody knocks on the door and says, hey, we've got this listing, it's sold in 30 days for X amount of dollars, it appeals to curiosity. It opens up your interest. It maybe gets you asking some questions, and all of those things means that you now have at least room to go, by the way, my name is Mary, I'm your local realtor, and you may not be ready today. I totally get that, but if you allow me the honor of taking your information, I won't sell it to anybody, and I'll add you to our email list so that when you're ready, you have a good place to go, or you can ask me some more questions about the sale that just happened down the street. Always do say yes stuff. in your presentation. All those things will yield a wildly valuable, like you should be able to turn a sale into two every single time. Every single time. Like in my experience, that's what happens. So John, right on, dude. What made you add this last thing to the list?
Oh, I'm just doing my research, watching the videos, reading the articles about this, and I just kind of mishmash all the different resources into a list that I think sounds reasonably logic. Because what we're saying, guys and girls, is it's good, you know, it's going to be like 2, 3, 4 hours of your life doing this open house. You've got to squeeze as much value out of this as you can. And if you've got a land, you know, a plan, and you keep to it and you do all the things, you're going to squeeze as much value out of these hours that is humanly possible.
Agreed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's been our show today. Once again, thank you for tuning in and giving some of your patronage to the number 86 rated podcast in the United States for real estate. We're on that list with Tom Ferry and everybody else you've heard, and it's because of you, our listeners, that we got there in the first place. We're so grateful to you. We so do not take at all for granted the fact that you give us some of your time, and thousands upon thousands of you do at this point. Last time we looked at the numbers. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for trusting us with your earbuds and your possibly some of your marketing strategies. I've been Robert Newman. You can find me at inboundrem.com. Look at the About Our Services page if you'd like to book a meeting or a consultation with me and talk to me about marketing, SEO, or any other subject that you can think of, as long as it impacts your revenue and vaguely has something to do with marketing, then you can go ahead and do that. John, how would you like people to find you?
I'll go to the mel-wright.com website, have a look at the main features of our platform, and then book a demo, a quick demo and a quick chat with me. And we love to show you how it works and how it could benefit you. I think it's a great platform. Back over to you, Rob.
Well, that's it. That's been our show, John. Take us offline. Once again, everybody, thank you.